So the other day I was just going about my business and I realized I had 6 fingers on one hand. Yes, like this. That's how I knew I was dreaming. Let me teach you how you can spot these and why and how to look for those and other things just like that so you will know when you're dreaming too. So I'm going to show you the 5, maybe 6 things, clues that your mind gives you that you're dreaming, and what to do afterwards when you realize that you are dreaming so you don't lose the dream. Hey, wonderful people. I'm Frank. I've been lucid dreaming for over 30 years. I've had hundreds of lucid dreams, all the experiences I can imagine with it. And I'm going to help you get your first lucid dream too, if that's what you want, or continue having them. Most people have these signs and they miss them, right? Because there's just crazy stuff happening in dreams all the time. Don't worry about that. That's my cat. Loves to be on the video. And things like that can also be help you realize that you're dreaming. So if you've ever had a dream where you realized you were dreaming and something strange happened, put it down in the comments. I love reading about them. I might make a video on it, you never know. Put it down in the comments and let's get on to what these signs are and how you can spot them and what to do afterwards. So yeah, one of the signs is that your hands aren't looking correct. That can be a broad thing. I've seen where my hands had like, okay, this looks good, like 6 fingers. I've seen it where it's only had like this fingers, or sometimes, let me show a picture if I can of another, they're deformed or they're not right. Why this happens? This happens because you ask your mind to produce a vision of a hand. You didn't say how many fingers it had to have, right? You didn't say it had to look perfect and that this was, you just asked for a hand, that's what you got. And that's why it looks weird like that. And that's why it's a good way to know that you're if you handle this right, this is a lucid dream. And this is right. So I always check my hands. Check your hands, and I'm going to show you how you can have that as a way to increase the amount of lucid dreams you have. And another one is like text or numbers. Do I have a clock in the background? Okay, I have a clock right there. And it makes sense, right? The time, the hours, and the minutes, and the date, and it all makes sense. Look at a clock like that. If you see one in every now and then, when you are everywhere, wherever you are, and you're not sure you're dreaming or not, look at them. I have a cork board right over here. I look at it. Now, see, the thing is, when you're in a dream or any kind of environment like that, you're asking your mind to produce a clock. You're not asking it to make sense. You're not asking it to have the 12 at the top and the 6 at the bottom and the 3 over here and the 6 over there, the 9 over there, whatever, right? Or to have hands on it, or to not have hands on it, or any of that. You're not asking it to do any of that, so it doesn't do that. It just produces that. And you're not asking it to be a certain time of the day either. So I've looked at clocks, digital clocks, where it was like, 120, and then the colon, and 6 minutes. It's like, what does that even mean, right? And then it'll have the date down, and the date will say something like tree, green, Saturday. Yeah. What's today's date? Apple. Right. It doesn't make any sense. You're not asking it to. When we look at things like a clock, we're asking that machine to tell us. When you're in a dream, it's you producing it, right? And that's why it looks weird, because you're not used to producing it in a certain way. and you have to. And this also comes across in like creating AI pictures. You have to stipulate things. You have to stipulate, well, for AI pictures and clocks, that's a weird one. Um, Go on any AI platform and try and create a analog clock that says 12:30. It's almost impossible because it gets its ideal of a clock is 10 after 10, right? And so that's what AI will produce because that's what its icon, what it's been asked to do, and that's what it knows how to do. In your mind, it's sort of something like that. It's going to have a face with some kind of numbers or something on it, and maybe some kind of hand thing. But if you don't stipulate all that, that's the way it looks. And digital too, it's just like you didn't stipulate what day it was. Maybe it's Apple o'clock, right? That's today, right? Yeah. So look at those two. And when those don't make sense, you'll be like, oh, I'm lucid, right? You got to nail that down. You got to realize I'm lucid. I will tell you what to do afterwards as well. But at this point, you know it's a dream. That is a sign. Another well known way to check or to something that's going to happen just before you gain lucidity in a dream is text, which is sort of like that, but like a book. There's usually street signs in a dream or a book. And, here, look, I got a book right here, and you could find this old dusty book, and right, it's got dust on it, and then you open it up to look inside, and it's all gobbledygook. It's like, what is going on here? I don't know what this is. That's no language. That's just because you didn't tell it, right? You told your dream, your mind, to produce a book. So it did. Book, right? And then you opened it up to a page, but you didn't stipulate what was on the page. You didn't even stipulate the language. And it just gave you a page with some kind of text. Some kind of text. Not necessarily your language. It says this some kind. That's why it looks like all squiggly lines when you. And the next one, let me just throw that one in there too. Your cell phone. Almost. This happened to me just recently as well. Opened up the cell phone. Actually, it was somebody else who had a cell phone. And I looked over his shoulder to see and it was all these like 2005 or 2010. You remember the phones and how they had all these blocky things on the phone and you press it. It had a lot of that on there. I was like, maybe it's from the dollar store, one of those cheap phones, one of those burner phones or something, right? Um, but I looked a little closer, and none of the icons or words or names or labels made any sense right there, right? I knew right there. So look at a cell phone. We always carry cell phones these days. Look at it, and if you're looking at it and you see words that you understand and pictures that make sense, and it looks like something that should be on your phone this year instead of like a few decades ago, boom, that's it. Also, you'll also find out that cell phones don't work. They just don't work right over there. Everybody has problems with cell phones and dreams. That's part of it too. That'll get you to thinking about it. Of course, that kind of looks like your cell phone just doesn't work, and machines sometimes don't work in reality, but it should be a clue that if you're doing everything you should be doing and your phone isn't working, and then it starts producing gobbledygook on the screen, that's a dream. So some of the things you can do when you realize this, there are several techniques you can use when you realize you're in a dream. Now this technique will allow you to stay in the dream. I've tried it And it does work. It's just rubbing your hands together. You don't have to look at them. Just rub them together. Rub them together. Rub them together. And this is sort of like a meditative practice. It's kind of like you're pulling in aspects of yourself more into the dream, into yourself. And so that now you can stabilize the dream. It definitely does stabilize the dream. It does not necessarily make you lucid, but it stabilizes where you're at. Sometimes you can get lucid and then be kicked off lucidity. You'll wind up back in a dream and you won't know you're lucid anymore. But by rubbing your hands together, yeah, it keeps it like that. I also found, here's another tip, tasting things keeps you in the dream. I don't know why, man. It just is. And you can taste anything, and it can taste like anything. So you could eat grass on the ground or paper or a piece of metal or a piece of glass. I swear I've done these things. And they have different tastes. I think when you're not expecting when you don't tell your mind this is supposed to taste like this, then it tastes like something, I don't know, random. The first time I tried this, I was back at my childhood home, and it was in a lot of periods during my childhood home, the backyard was a mess. It didn't have much grass in it. You know, it had patches of dirt and all that stuff. And I was back at that time period. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try tasting stuff. So I plucked a piece of grass out. I chewed on it, and it was like, this tastes like black licorice. Why does it taste like black licorice? It was very interesting, and it did stabilize the dream. I would also say when don't panic. Don't go, yes, I'm lucid, yes, because that will wake you up. Sorry, and then you won't be lucid and you won't be happy either. I know I've done that too. So I was like, oh, I'm lucid. Wake up. And it's like, oh, I was right there. I was right there. Now I'm waking up. I had it, and then I blew it. That too. Don't go crazy. One of the things that I found out worked really, really well is when you realize you're lucid, you can say whatever works best, but in this general idea, I'm bringing in more lucidity. I'm becoming more conscious. I'm becoming more my waking consciousness right now. Now, waking consciousness and awake consciousness is sort of a dangerous thing to say because your subconscious doesn't know sometimes if it should wake you up because you said waking consciousness. Well, I guess he wants to be awake, and then you're awake, and it's like, I shouldn't have said that. I say I'm becoming more conscious and more conscious and more aware and more capable, and you kind of empower yourself. And that brings in your consciousness. And so now, instead of having like minimal amounts of consciousness going, two brain cells working on this dream here, you're actually bringing in all of your consciousness now, or almost all of your consciousness. So it's like you're really conscious. And this just blows people away. And I know it blew me away back in the day too, because we're used to having dreams where we are asleep. There's no real way to say it. You're kind of like a zombie. You're kind of, oh, well, this is happening, and then this is happening. And it's such a minimal amount of consciousness. I guess that's what we need at that hour. I don't know. But then when you throw in lucidity, it brings in so much consciousness that you're your waking self. You're your real self. And you're going to be like, you're going to be astonished. You're going to be amazed that your waking self can be in the dream. So don't freak out. But it is amazing. And it's amazing every time it happens. It's always amazing. Because we get so used to just being here and having this. If you've never had an experience like this, You just see your consciousness and the way you are as just the way you are. It's just the way you are. But when you take that and you put it over here in this weirdness, this dream world, it's like now you realize what it's like to be conscious really. Because you've seen it there and you've seen it here and you realize it there and you realize it here and you know it's got these qualities that you can't put words to and you can recognize. If anybody says, do you really know when you're lucid? Dude, you know when you're lucid. Oh, you're gonna know when you're lucid. Which is the thing that sets people off and makes them go crazy, and then they lose the dream and then they wake up. Yeah. So I would say I when I get there, I'm like, I'm pulling in all my consciousness. I'm becoming more conscious, more aware, right away. And that's a given when I realize I am lucid. It's just a given now. And nowadays, it's so much a given that it just happens, right? All the consciousness. I almost feel like it's all pouring in from everywhere else. It's like water or air or energy just pouring in, and then I become fully conscious, and I'm like this instead of sleepy and believing that a giraffe driving a car is real, right? You have waking consciousness, you'd be like, what the? But in a dream, you're like, oh, that's normal. Absolutely. I don't see why a giraffe can't drive a car. I'm not a racist, right? But when you're in your waking consciousness, you're like, this is impossible. This is crazy. I must be dreaming. Bam. That's it. So now you know the things that will let you know a lucid dream is about to happen because you're going to create it. And what you're going to do is during the day, you're going to look at clocks, look at books, right? And look at text and your cell phone and just think about how it would be different in a dream. Just think about it, right? When you look at this clock, you look and check to see it says whatever time it is, whatever day it is, whatever date it is, and then it makes sense. And you'll say, oh, that makes sense. And when you do that repeatedly, you're going to be doing that in the dream world too. And when you do that in the dream world, it's not going to make sense because you're asking the clock to tell you when you need to be telling the clock. So you're going to ask your dream clock to make sense, and it won't. You're going to ask the dream book to make sense, and it won't because it can't. It just, you have to tell it what to be. And I won't go into it because other things have amazing detail, and this does not. Yeah, so rub your hands together, stabilize the dream, say, make me conscious, bring in more consciousness, make me aware, make me aware. Another pro tip, and this is from a pro, okay? Been doing this for a million years. I got dream journals, physical dream journals like this. I got all kinds of text dream journals on computers and phones and stuff like that. Okay, pro tip. If you're not sure you're in a dream, ask yourself how you got there. You won't know because you didn't get there. You just appeared there. It's just a dream, okay? It's just a place. You just appeared there. You didn't drive a car there. You didn't parachute in from an airplane. Now, ask yourself how you got here. So for me, how did I get here? This is my house. I drove my car. It's red. I know what it looks like. I know the make and model. That's easy. That was easy enough, right? But when you're in a dream, that's not how it goes. You're going to ask yourself how you got in your house, how you got to the store, how you got to the library, or wherever you are. And you're not going to know. This is what it looks like. So you find yourself, you're in a dream, right? And let's say you're in a dream, and you're like, oh wow, that's an interesting book. Oh, I'm in my place, my living room. How did I get here? Wow, I don't know how I got here. How did I get here? Like I'm drawing a total blank. Did I drive a car? Did somebody drive me here? I don't even remember walking in the front door. I'm just kind of here. Oh my goodness, I can't remember how I got here. What happened an hour ago, a half hour ago? I can't even remember. Okay, so that's what it is. Because there was no half hour ago. You just got here, right? You didn't, yeah. So, and that is a freaky one. That can freak people out. But as soon as you realize that, then see you're into lucid dreaming. You're going to realize that you didn't have a car bring you here because this is a dream, and then this is going to look like this. Well, let me look worried again. Oh my goodness, I couldn't. I don't know how I even got here. I can't even remember like 10 minutes ago. Oh, wait a second. This means I'm in a dream. This means that this is all a dream. Oh, this is awesome. I am lucid. Yes. Don't get too excited. Don't get too excited. Be conscious, be conscious, be conscious. Keep my eyes open. All right, stabilizing the dream environment, stabilizing the dream environment. I like it. Bringing some consciousness. Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do first? There you go. That's it. That's what it looks like. Right? And once you get the hang of all these little things, you'll be a pro before you know it. This is all natural stuff, people. This is all natural stuff. The philosophy I have with it is, and some people think it's just unnatural, but the philosophy is, look, life, we become more conscious and we become more adult, right? In the beginning, we didn't consciously know how to go to the bathroom. We didn't know how to walk. We didn't consciously know how to do anything, but we brought consciousness to it, and now these things are part of our life, and we use them to help our lives, to better ourselves, to make our lives more interesting and more helpful. And the same with dreams. We're supposed to be more lucid in them. We're supposed to bring more consciousness to them. You sleep for 8 hours. Kind of wasted, right? It could be maximized even more. And I'm telling you, as somebody who does this on a nightly basis, yes, I've had dreams that have changed my life, made it much better, and spiritual experiences, monetary experiences, right? Everybody wants that one. But yeah, they make my life so much better because I'm bringing consciousness to it, just like you bring consciousness to everything else. It's a normal thing. So if you've had any of these happen in a dream, and if you have any memory of dreams, I'm sure you've had this happen, had these things happen in dreams, because they're extremely common. When you start experimenting with your dreams, you're going to realize that these things are going on all the time, and they can help you have a lucid dream and interact more with the dream, and have the dreams interact more with you and your daily life. So if you like this content, by all means, hit the like button. If you want to get notifications on the next video, which you do, right, hit the subscribe button. Okay, wonderful people, leave a comment down below, and on to the next video.